I'll be using my basic pant pattern to draft the palazzo pant, and my pattern is from the waistline to the knee line. This is the front pattern and this is the back pattern. So I'll be doing all my alterations on this pattern, my basic pant pattern. Now this is the fabric I'll be using for this project. It's a dark rib fabric. It doesn't have any stretch whatsoever. It's a very beautiful fabric, no stretch. So I'll be using this fabric for this project. I'll be starting with my front pattern. That's my waistline, my hip line, my crotch line, and my knee line. So the first thing that I would do is to mark my full length, the full length of my pants. And for this project, I'll be using 67. So I'll mark 60 and then add 7 to it. So that's 67. This is inclusive of my hemming allowance. I already added my hemming allowance to the 67 and my hemming allowance is 2 inches. So I'll just draw a line at the hem line there. And then that's my foot entry. So I'm going to be dropping the front crotch by ½ inch. Now, I don't want the crotch area to be too fitted because this is a basic pant pattern and it is fitted. So I'm just going to drop the front crotch by ½ inch to create a bit of ease around the crotch area. And then I'll connect that point to my initial crotch curve. I'll just redraw the line. So I'm going to connect that point to my knee line. So I have a new inseam line. And then let's work on the foot entry. My my basic foot entry is 14 inches. And then I'm going to divide that by 2, which is 7. So I'm marking 3.5 on each sides of the line. This is still basic. I'll definitely add to it to create my palazzo pant. So I'll just connect to my knee line from the hem line. So this is just a basic straight pant. And so for the palazzo pant, I'll need to add extra allowance. I'm going to create an extension at the hem line. So I'm going out by 4 inches on each sides of my line. 4 inches. And then I'm going to connect this point to my hip line. I'll come all the way from the hem line to my hip line. You can add more than 4. 4 is even basic. You can do more than 4. You can even do slash and spread if you want more fullness, but for this project 4 inches is fine. And then I'll also connect to my inseam line on the crotch line. I'll connect from the hem line to my inseam. So this is my palazzo pant at this point. And then I'm going to work on the hem line. I want the hem line to be a bit rounded. I don't want it to be sharp at the hem line. So I'll just go up by 3/4 of an inch on the both inseam and outseam. Then I'll connect with a curved ruler to the hemline. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to mark my band. I'm using 1.5 inches for my band, so I'll just take it from my waistline, 1.5 inches, then connect. My waistband is 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to label all the parts to avoid any form of confusion when I'm sewing. That's the center front, the side front, and up and down. So I'll set aside my front pattern and then work on the back. This is my back pattern. I'm going to be repeating almost the same process I did at the front. The first thing is to mark my full length, which I'm taking from the knee. My shoulder to knee is 39 and then my full length is 67. So I'll just start from the knee line to mark 67. And then I'm going to square a line out. On the M line, I'll mark my foot entry, which is 7 inches for the basic plus 4 inches. So I've marked that. And then I'm going to connect the M line to my hip line. I'll do the same thing for the inseam. I'll connect the M line to the hip line, the crotch line rather. So I will not be dropping the back crotch because I already did that in the basic pattern. Like I said, I have a video on how to draft a pants pattern. So if in case you do not know how to draft one, I'll place the link in the description box. So I'm going to be marking my dart. My bust span is 8 inches, so I'll just divide by 2, which is 4. I'll mark 4, and then I'm going to mark my dart. My dart is 1.75, and then I'll divide that by 2. That's 7/8 is what I'm marking at the both sides of the dart leg. Then I will square a line out parallel to the crotch line. My dart is going to be 6 inches. I don't want it to be too long. 6 inches is fine. You can do 5 if you want. And then I'll connect to the waistline. So this is my back dart. There is no dart in the front pattern. I don't usually add dart to my front pattern. If you have been following me by now, you should know that I don't add dart to my front pattern for my pants and my skirt. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing I did in the front, um, creating a curve at the M line so that my pants M line will sit properly. There won't be any sharp edge whatsoever. And this is all I'll be doing for the back. And then I'll also mark my band. Remember to mark out your band. My band is 1.5 inches. So I'll just mark 1.5 inches for my band and then connect with a straight line to form my back band. On this band, I'm going to close the dart. The part that has the waist dart, I'm going to close it up. I won't be sewing the waist dart on the band. So I'll just label all the sides, and this is the back band. So it's time to cut. I'm going to be cutting everything out. from the pattern. So I'm just going to cut out my band from the pattern for the front and the back. Now my band is going to be open at the side, that's the left hand side. So I'm going to cut my band out. I'm going to cut my band on fold so that I can have my opening for my zipper at the side, which is the left hand side. So I'm going to trace out my band and then cut it out on fold. So at this point I have traced out my band on fold for the front and the back. I'm just going to label them center front, center back, up and down. Because I want my band to have the opening at the left hand side, I'm going to be joining in such a way that the opening will be at the left hand side. So I will join the front and the back on the side seam. So I'm just going to join my front and back band on the side. I'll just straighten out any sharp points and then join them. This is what my band looks like, and it's going to be opening up at the side. It looks very snatched, very fitted. There won't be any gaping on this band. So guys, we have come to the end of the pattern drafting. Let's go on to cutting on our fabric. I've placed my pattern on the fabric. I'm going to be cutting with 1 inch seam allowance on the inseam and outseam, and then 1/2 inch seam allowance everywhere else. I already added seam allowance to the hemline, so I won't be adding any more allowance to the hemline. Now the band I'm going to be cutting to with 1/2 inch seam allowance all round. So guys, I have cut out my patterns on my fabric. That's the band, this is the front, and this is the back. I added interfacing, but I'll be adding the interfacing to one part of the band. The other side will not have interfacing. So I'm going to be removing all my pins from my pattern. I'm going to sew the crotch curve for the front and the back. Remember I added 1/2 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to sew 1/2 inch from the waistline all the way to the crotch. So I'll just pin them together and then sew 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch all around. I have joined my band at the top and I did an under stitch. That's my interfacing. I did an under stitch to keep it in place at the back. This is what my band looks like right now. And then I have sewn my crotch curve for the front and the back. So I'll take it to my ironing table and then open up all the seams. Now the next thing to do will be to sew the inseam and the outseam. I left 1 inch seam allowance, and that's exactly what I'm going to be sewing. So the interfacing there is for my zipper, stabilize the zip. So I'll mark out where my zip will stop, and that's where I'll be starting my stitch from. So guys, I've sewn my darts and I have joined my band to the pants, as you can see. So I just need to iron it to flatten it out. I've also fixed my zipper. That's my zipper. I'll just cut off the excess interfacing and then I'll weave the raw edges. So my pant is looking pretty good. I fixed my hook and eye, and then for the M line, I decided to use another fabric to turn the M line because this dark reed fabric is quite bulky and I didn't like the look it was giving my M line. So I'm using this one to turn the M line. This is the final result of our pant. It came out so well, looking so beautiful. I'm so excited about the final result. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel.